Hello fellow target individuals, this is VW again, and I'm just going to make a short video today. I wanted to celebrate that it's been 2 days since I have talked to my perpetrators, to my stalkers, my murderers. It's been 2 days since I've said anything to them, so I wanted to celebrate that and just say I'm probably going to keep it going. I'm going to keep it going and just do these videos. But today I wanted to do a video on the reason that your perpetrators, your stalkers, your murderers, the people that are trying to murder you with radiation, the reason why it's so bizarre and they spend so much time on it and they're using poison and it's such a bizarre thing, everything's so bizarre, is because the more bizarre they can make it, the crazier you look. Because if you tell anybody, hey, this guy, he's pumping poison into my front yard whenever I come home, and there's kids out there, or he's staying up all night to shoot EMF directed frequencies right to my skull, the more bizarre it is, the more these people get off on it, and the more you look like a crazy person. So it's like they'll stay up all night, trying to torture you. They'll put poison into your house. They do things that are so bizarre that's just like they'll judge you if you don't do anything. If you're not doing anything, they'll just judge you bizarrely and want to murder you, and that's bizarre. So like what their whole philosophy behind this, and I wanted to let everybody know because this is kind of how it's gone for me, is if we can just make it totally bizarre, like everybody's shooting weapons at this guy, get him while he's in the bathroom, get him while he's sleeping, bizarre, cowardly things that like no one would ever do in the cruelest way possible, then no one will believe you. No one will believe the victim of it who is getting hit with radiation in their head and their genitals. The genital one, like to shoot something at somebody's genitals from remotely, or having a directed energy weapon shooting at somebody's genitals, is so bizarre. Nobody will believe it. So they want to do things so bizarre because they're murderers and they're cowards, and they're really bizarre people to start with. To even do this to somebody, you have to be really evil and bizarre and think that just you're the only person in the universe, and that if people die, who cares? So that's why they do things that are so bizarre. And I'll give you an example of kind of how it works out. So probably a couple months ago, before I got my psychiatrist and talking to my psychiatrist, I went to my neurologist. And I'm telling him the story, and this is before all of the directed energy weapons. This is just with the EMF emitters that were emitting the high pitched sound. And so I went over my story with him, how they had been just totally torturing me in the house for months on end with this EMF emitters that are just high pitched. It's making the sides of my head hurt. It's really hurting me, and almost it feels like you're dying because you're being tortured all the time. And my neurologist, who he's probably a learned man, he's probably pretty smart, he says, you make sense, but I can't believe you because I can't believe that somebody could do something so cruel and thoughtless. So that's what you're going to get when you talk to grown-ups or your psychiatrist or your parents. They can't believe it. They cannot believe that something so horrific and something so cruel can be done by a human being. Like, they just can't believe. It's so horrifying. And the guys that are doing it, they're doing it covertly, they're getting away with it, and they're like, oh, we're so smart, and we're doing it covertly, and that's why we're getting away with it. But they're not. They're not getting away with it because they're smart. They're getting away with it because it's so horrific. Like, it tops horror movies. I mean, this stuff that they're doing, shooting radiation at people's heads and genitals in this ritual abuse fashion that goes on 24 hours a day, that never stops, it beats horror movies. Like, I'm thinking of all the horror movies I've seen, like, Halloween, where, the guy goes around with a knife, Michael Myers, killing people. This is worse. This is worse because they're behind a wall and they're treating you like you're crazy while they shoot radiation at your body parts. And these people, like these guys that are doing it to me, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, you know, they probably get these textbooks out, like medical textbooks, and like study the human body to know where the best places to hit me are. You know, and that's serial killer shit. That's serial killer stuff. I'm sorry, excuse my language. I'm really pissed about it, and I guess I'm coming out because I haven't responded to them in 2 days, which I'm gonna keep going. I mean, it's still he's gonna call me crazy and say he needs to kill me, and people are gonna, you know, be doing crazy, bizarre stuff. But as long as I don't talk to them, they don't have an excuse. They do kind of have an excuse because they're surveilling me while I do these videos, and they have been, you know, hitting me harder since I've been doing the videos. But that's great, whatever, because I mean, I want to do the videos and kind of unveil all this. You know, we all need to unveil this bizarre murder kind of program. It's like a program of bizarre murder where you're trying to make the person that you're murdering look crazy and destroy their family and just destroy neighborhoods, you know, induce hate into people. It really needs to be stopped. I mean, it has to be stopped, and it will be stopped in the future. Like, these guys don't have long to where they're going to be able to do this for a lot longer. So I may seem kind of ornery today, because, you know, if I don't let it out, and this I'll be letting it out in this avenue, you know, with these videos. I get kind of mad, because when somebody's just sitting there hitting you like, hey, you can't do anything about it. Hey, I'm hitting you in the face. Hey, I'm hitting you in the face. You can't do anything about it. Hitting you in the face. You're crazy. We're gonna kill you. You're crazy. And they're just doing it behind a wall. Let's get him out of here. Let's get him out of here. You know, and you can't even defend yourself. Like, it's not like you can defend yourself in a court of law. It's just like you're trapped in your house, and these people are just doing whatever bizarre satanic thing that they want to do. And that's another thing. Like, this is straight up demonic, satanic stuff that these people are into. Mutilating somebody's genitals, hitting them in the head, I mean, with radiation, torturing people in their sleep. It's satanic, it's demonic, and I call them on it all the time that it's satanic and demonic. But this guy, like, I'll hear him on V2K, and he's like, oh, he thinks we're evil, we need to murder him. You know, so he'll use it in this cycle of bizarre, crazy murder. Like, because I'm saying he's evil for murdering me, he'll use that. He'll use anything. He just picks it up and he's like, oh, well, he's saying we're Satanists. We gotta kill him. You know, and he's just showing that he is a demonic Satanist because he's, like, trying to kill me. So, I think that's really funny. It's funny and bizarre that, you know, they'll use these things. Like, if you're like, man, you're so evil, why are you doing this? You're poisoning kids. Oh, he thinks we're evil, we need to kill more people. You know, so that's why it's bizarre. It's bizarre because the more bizarre and murderous they get, the more poison they use and do things that human beings can't even believe a human being could do, the more they do that, the more crazy you look. The more crazy you and I look when we try and tell somebody. You know, if it was a straight up kind of, hey, we're using an EMF emitter on this guy, and we'll, you know, stop every once in a while to give him some mercy, you know, like we're screwing around with him, it'd be more believable that human beings could do that. But when a person does it 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day, tries to aim radiation at you, doesn't sleep, you know, they take turns torturing and tormenting, people don't believe it. Like, the regular human beings in society, like my neurologists, like my parents, and they still, because of the way I explain it, you know, people come around to me. They come around to me and they're like, this guy, he's not changing the story. Everything kind of goes along with it. So they don't really know what to believe when I tell them. But I've only talked to my neurologist once, and usually if I only talk to somebody one time, they are in disbelief, because nobody can believe that a human being, much less a bunch of adults, could do something so murderous and cruel and unthinking and just try and kill another human being. People can't believe it. It's so bizarre and twisted, and it's like these guys, they count on that. But in their heads, they're like, no, this is covert, and we're cool, and we're so secretive that people just don't know because we're doing it so secretly, and we're so, 007 cool. But the real deal is that people can't comprehend somebody doing something that's worse than a horror movie, and this is worse than a horror movie. Trapping a person in their home, and then saying, hey, we're going to get him out of here, and then knowing you're going to follow him, and then torturing him and abusing his body every second of the day so that he can't get his work done, he can't live his life, for some selfish reason that they want to just use this technology. It's too cruel to even imagine. And that's why I talk to you guys, because I can talk to my parents, I can talk to my psychiatrist, I can talk to my neurologist, and I think a very smart thing to do. You don't have to immediately do this, right out of the cage. If you're experiencing the EMF, directed energy weapons to your head, to your genitals, to your body, a very smart thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go get an oncologist and just have maybe a twice-a-year checkup or 3 times a year checkup, because this stuff, it causes cancer. This EMF radiation, it causes cancer. So, if they're nailing you 24 hours a day, even if you get it blocked and you can still feel a little bit, you need to go ahead and get an oncologist and see, and make sure that you don't have cancer. But yeah, I just wanted to do a video kind of saying why it's so bizarre, why these guys are so, it's like I don't know, I really don't know if this guy's satanic or demonic or worships demons or is like into Satanism or anything, but where I'm coming from is he is torturing me 24 hours a day with radiation to my head and to my genitals, to my stomach, and I have Crohn's disease. He knows that, so he goes after my stomach, in my neck. He'll shoot my neck. And it's just, to me, I look at this, and I don't think a Christian man could do it. Somebody who believes in a loving God, they would have mercy. They wouldn't do this. They wouldn't do anything this way. Somebody that believes in nothing, I couldn't see them doing this. If they don't believe in anything, if you're a nihilist, why would you screw in somebody else's life? You just, do your own thing and not believe in anything. So that only leaves, Sherlock Holmes, he says, once you take out everything that, it could be, and it's not, then the only thing left is the unbelievable. And so I don't know what this guy believes. It's something that he believes in killing people. So the only things that I know that believe in, the only beliefs that I've seen that believe in, killing people and ritual sacrifice and violence 24 hours a day, Satanism, demonic stuff, something really bad, I mean, he hears me saying this right now, and he'll be like, oh, that guy thinks we're evil, you gotta kill him, which is just ironic and bizarre. He would use all that. He would use me being like, well, you're trying to kill me, you're evil, and he'll use that to kill me more, So I wanted to just talk about, why they're so bizarre, why, when this started out, the guy that was psychologically abusing me, which I really didn't even notice, I'd go to the bathroom and he was surveilling me, so he would turn on his sink. He would turn on his sink right when I went to the bathroom every morning. And so I tell my parents this, I'm like, this guy is turning on his sink when I go to the bathroom, and they're like, what are you talking about? Why would anybody do that? They're like, nobody would do that, especially a grown man would not do that ever. That's bizarre and unbelievable. And that's why he did it. That's why he does stuff like that. That's why these guys do things that are so, just tormenting people and doing this evil stuff. They do it because nobody can believe it. And they know they're going to get away with it. The guy wouldn't come up to my door and start yelling at me, because then I tell somebody, hey, this guy's yelling at me. He's trying to hurt me or whatever, and they believe me. And they're like, hey, he can't do that. He can't use violence, to do anything, to get you out of your place, to say he's getting you out of your place or whatever. like that he can't use terrorism as some kind of legal means to get me out of my home, and there is no legal means. Like he is not allowed and has no authority to say anything about what I do in my house or if I leave or stay. So that's why they get real bizarre with it. Like he'll get real bizarre and he'll 24-hour a day torture, and he'll go hide his truck, so that people don't know that he's there and that he can just, do more torture. And that's what these people do. They want to torture you in your sleep. They want to torture you when you're, in the bathroom. They want to do it the most twisted, bizarre way you can imagine, the most evil way you could imagine treating anybody, because they know that if I go tell somebody, hey, this guy is like tormenting me on my toilet when I go use the bathroom, he's running back and forth like a crazy man trying to nail me with directed energy weapons. They're just like, oh no, you're crazy. Adults wouldn't do that. Adults that are US citizens, they'd never do that. And that's what this guy feeds off of. He lives off of that. He lives off of everybody's just going to be like, no, that's not going on. That's just all in your head. And so you kind of got to put it in a context when you're talking about what these people are doing to you. Be sure and put it into a context of a whole kind of history of the abuse and the torture that they're doing. Because if you just come out and you're like, hey, this guy is like torturing me in my sleep. This guy is torturing me in my sleep. He's trying to hit my face, my eyes, my neck with this EMF radiation. He's trying to torture me. He's trying to torment me so that I'll move out of here, and then he'll be on the next part of the program. He'll be on the part of the program where they're chasing me around to extended stays, or if I go stay at my parents', he'll hit me remotely. So he's trying to get me on out of here so he can have the thrill of the chase going on. And that's even more bizarre. It's like these people are very, they like torture, they like torturing people, and they like that kind of dominating power. And it's totally bizarre. I can't even imagine if I wasn't involved in this, like if I was not targeted directly and somebody came up to me and said, hey, some people are torturing me in my sleep. They're hitting my genitals, they're hitting my face with radiation and then trying to call me crazy after they hit me with all this stuff that's physically hurting me. They're trying to make me look crazy after they, really torture me physically. I don't know if I would believe them. I want to say that I would. I want to say that I would because of what I've been through, but I don't know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre, and like a U.S. citizen, especially this guy was in the Army. He was a U.S. soldier, protecting citizens, and now he's torturing them in their homes for no purpose whatsoever. Because he knows that if I leave here, he's going to follow me. He's going to get, they'll have a ton of people. They have tons of people in this network, and it kind of goes across, firemen, policemen, FBI, ex-CIA. It's a fraternal thing. I won't go into what I think, it stretches across and why in this video, maybe later. But it's a thing that kind of crosses those lines with police and firemen, so they can get people to help them and give them murder weapons and these Raytheon weapons that they actually do use in a